Are you or a loved one disabled? Do you feel alone, lost, and confused as to how to win your Social Security case? If you're watching this video, it's probably because you have so many questions and you're desperately looking for the answers. Hi, my name is Avi Libovic, and I'm the owner at Benefits for All and the lead attorney at Avi Libovic and Associates. Over the course of my 20-year career, I've overseen the processing and screening of over 500,000 disability cases, working with the largest hospitals, neighborhood clinics, primary care physicians, and even individuals who had no access to care at all. My strategies for how to win the case have made me one of the top experts in Social Security law in the entire nation. My life and my career were going great. And then one day it all came crashing down. It started first with some abdominal pains. And before I knew it, I'd been admitted to the hospital several times and I required multiple surgeries. I found myself unable to work and disabled and in desperate need of my own benefits. I understand exactly how you feel. I was in your shoes. And I'm going to take you through the process and help you and give you everything that I know so that you can win your case. I'm recovered and I'm back at work. And I have a newfound passion for helping disabled people because I myself have been there too. Call our office today for a free screening and to see how we can help you with your Social Security case. At the same time, enjoy these videos and webinars that we've prepared to help you understand how to win your Social Security case. Hi everyone, this is Avi Libovic and you're watching another amazing webinar brought to you by Benefits for All, where I teach you how to win your Social Security case without having to pay the cost of an expensive attorney. I'm driving coast to coast. I had to pull over on the side of the road right in the heart of Missouri because I just was taken back by the beauty of it all. We have such beautiful trees and homes and grass and lakes. I'm gonna turn the camera for half a second so you can marvel in the same things that I'm marveling at and see how beautiful America is and how beautiful Missouri is. You can see, we'll let the cars go past. And you can just see how unbelievable, look how beautiful that is. The green grass, the trees, how quiet it is other than the cars, the solitude, the patriotism with the flag. I mean, this is America. This is America and it's beautiful. So let's go back and talk about exactly what we wanted to talk about. And we're going to talk about residual functional capacity, RFC. RFC is something that you need to be familiar with. RFC, residual functional capacity, in short means your capability to do sustained type of work over the course of a workday, even with your medical condition, your medical impairment, which is causing you to be disabled. Let's take someone who's healthy. A healthy person, man or woman, can, let's just say, walk for, I'm just picking a number, for 8 hours a day, and they could lift, I'm picking a number, 25 pounds or 50 pounds, and they could run, and they could stand, and they could stoop, and they can crawl. They could do all the different things that a healthy person could do. On the other hand, let's say you have someone now who has a medical condition that affects their back, or affects their spine, or affects something within their body that prevents them from walking for such long distances, or prevents them from carrying up to a certain weight, or prevents them from climbing stairs, or walking on uneven surfaces, or prevents them from crawling, or stooping, or pulling, or pushing. So the question becomes now, even with your medical condition, whereas before you were 100% healthy, and whereas before you were able to go ahead and do everything you wanted to do as a healthy person, the question for the court and the judge and Social Security who's making the decision is whereas before you could do it, now with your medical condition, what is the residual functional capacity? What is the leftover capacity? Before you were at 100%, maybe now you're at 70%, or 60%, or 30%, or 10%. Did you move from a heavy type of work where you're a construction worker to a medium type of work, to a light type of work, to a sedentary type of work? These are all questions that we need to discuss, and we're going to talk for 2 minutes about residual functional capacity. I'm just going to reference some of my notes over here. Ordinarily, residual functional capacity is a function by function assessment of the individual's maximum, not minimum, maximum ability to do sustained work, not a short burst of work, but sustained work. That's either physically or mental activities on a regular continual basis. A regular continual basis means 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. It sounds like a work day, right? 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Despite the limitations or restrictions that you have from your impairment. In short, like we said, it's your ability to go ahead and do full-time work, and whether you have that capacity to do that. In each time, when we look at residual functional capacity, there's two aspects that we need to consider. We need to consider your limitations, and we need to consider your restrictions. There's a difference between a limitation and a restriction. What's the difference? A limitation means you could still do something, but you're limited. There's a cap on it. There's only so much you can do before your body gives away. There are certain activities that will be beyond or out of reach of your capabilities. That's a limitation. So you'll say, listen, I can walk this amount of feet, but I can't walk that amount of feet. I can carry this amount, but I can't carry that amount. I can go ahead and pull or push or whatever, X, Y, and Z, but I can't push or pull A, B, and C. A restriction, on the hand, is something that the doctors have advised you, you can't do it. It's not allowed, right? You think of those athletes who get hurt and they say, well, listen, if you want to play professional sports again, you run a chance of permanently handicapping yourself and destroying your body beyond the point of repair. That's a restriction. So when we're looking at RFCs and we're determining what you can do, what you can't do, we're going to need to identify what is a limitation and what is a restriction. Now, ordinarily for a physical RFC, the person's medical condition is going to be evaluated in terms of the physical demands of work, which is what we just spoke about, right? You need to lift, you need to carry, you need to push and pull and on an uneven surface or a balanced surface. And it's not just that, it has to do with for how many hours a day. What's the shift like? So the RFC on a physical condition is going to go ahead and determine the physical demands of work as it's used in the Dictionary of Occupational Titles, the DOT, D-O-T, Dictionary of Occupational Titles. So basically, if you were a mailman, you would go to Google, you would put in Dictionary of Occupational Titles, D-O-T. Once it comes up, there'll be a search bar there, and you put in the word mailman. Mailman will pop up, and you will be able to see exactly what is expected of a mailman, right? What is expected of a mailman? Actually, let's do that together. I just made up and picked the mailman, so let's go ahead and let's look at it together. Let's hope we have mail reception over here. I'm going to put DOT in the search bar. I'm going to write Dictionary of Occupational Titles, and let's see what comes up. DOT, Dictionary of Occupational Titles. Oh, first hit. Isn't that unbelievable? I think it is. So let's go ahead and let's put in a search. There's a thing here that says search the DOT and the ONET. The ONET is the Occupational Information Network. The Occupational Information Network. It's a little more updated than the DOT. You can use them both, and Social Security will accept them both. There's also the Standard Industrial Classifications, the SIC, Standard Industrial Classifications. In some cases, you may want to go ahead and you may want to look up your job. A mailman was the example I'm going to use in all of those, but for right now, let's just see what it says. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write mailman, although it should be mail woman or mail carrier. Maybe mail carrier is the best thing that I really need to write. So let's write mail carrier. And let's see what comes up over there. Search. Mail carrier. It breaks it down. Isn't this interesting? I want you to understand this. I'm so happy we're doing this exercise. I just said mailman because I was just thinking off the top of my head, right? It's nice and quiet now. Hear how beautiful it is? Hear the crickets? That's awesome. I just wrote mailman, but you know what they have here? They have mail carrier, that's what I said. Rural mail carrier, because think about it, a rural mail carrier has different requirements than maybe a suburban mail carrier. They have a supervisor mail carrier. They have a postal mail carrier. They have a hand delivery mail carrier. And they have an order clerk and different types of operators. So you need to be clear on what it is you're doing. So let's say I want to prepare for my case and I'm a mailman. I'm going to click it. It's DOT number 230.367-010. If you want to check me out and maybe we'll post this on the side of the page there for a mail carrier, put in the words DOT into Google, put in dictionary occupational titles, and put in 230-367-010. And it describes it. Let's read it together so we're all on the same page. According to the DOT, the mail carrier sorts mail for delivery and delivers mail on established routes. Inserts mail into slots of mail rack to sort for delivery. Notice how it's listing all the tasks. Delivers mail to residences and business establishments along the route. Completes delivery forms, collects charges, obtains signatures on receipts for delivery of specified types of mail, enters changes of address in the route book and readdresses mail to be forwarded. May drive a vehicle over established route, may deliver specialized types of mail, and may be designated parcel post carrier or special delivery carrier. It says the strength, remember we talked about before, is it heavy, is it medium, is it light, is it sedentary? It says the strength here is M, medium, right? Now there's other aspects over here that we could talk about in terms of the DOT and the different things that it goes ahead and lists out. I don't want to get into that right now. I want to go back to the conversation on residual functional capacity. We were talking about the RFC, and we said it's determined by the what? By the DOT. Now a mental condition, right? Mental condition, everything that I just described above would be difficult to analyze, would be difficult to measure based on the DOTs. So mental RFC is evaluated in terms of the mental demands of the work set out in the Code of Federal Regulations. The sole purpose of assessing RFC is what? Is to determine, like I said, steps 4 and 5. Can you return to your old job, or can you get any other job in the national economy? Now you have to keep in mind that Social Security sometimes will send you to a consultative exam, a CE, and that doctor there may fill out an RFC form for you, but that's somewhat limited in scope. It's not going to be limited. If you want to fill out an RFC by your doctor, your general practitioner, if you want to get a specialist one, we have some sample RFCs on the side of the page that you can click it and download it with your subscription, and that will allow you to go ahead and not just give Social Security your medical records or a copy of your medical records, it will allow you to go ahead and send a questionnaire for either physical limitations or mental limitations specifically to your doctor. And then that way you'll have a doctor's opinion above and beyond your medical records to just discuss your residual functional capacity. Now that might be very important, because if you could still do heavy work, the doctor's saying that you're not so injured. You need your doctor to downgrade you from heavy to medium to light to sedentary. Obviously, the more you can do, right, the higher your functional capacity, the less chance you have of being disabled. Because you can do light work or medium work or heavy work. But if you're down to sedentary, if you're less than sedentary, I can only lie in a bed. I can't even sit at a desk. My feet hurt, my legs get swollen, whatever it is, my back hurts. The less you have, the better off you are. Now, an RFC also only assesses the impact of what? Of medically determinable impairments, MDIs, including the impact of any related symptoms. The RFC does not take into account the sex, it doesn't take into account the age, it doesn't take into account your natural body build or any other physical conditioning. And in absence of any medically determinable impairment, an individual is considered to be unlimited in their physical and mental capacity. So unless you go ahead and you give something from your doctor to Social Security that says, I, the doctor, who's trained and specialized, have examined the claimant, and I, under my specialized training, determined that at this point in time, because of so-and-so impairment, the claimant has been reduced to a light RFC, a light strength level, or a sedentary strength level. That's very important. And I think with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to our next location. Missouri is beautiful. I hope you understand the importance of an RFC. This will all click. It may seem like there's different pieces that I'm giving to you right now, but I promise you it's all going to click. We have a couple of webinars that bring it all together, and it takes all these little pieces. Just like this is a webinar that focuses specifically just on RFCs, right? We have different webinars that bring it all together and talk specifically about why the RFC is needed for steps 4 and 5, how it is used in steps 4 and 5, and how it can help you win your case. If you don't get an RFC questionnaire filled out by your doctor, you are not doing everything you need to do to win your case. As an attorney, I would make sure that every one of my clients has an updated RFC. Remember, you don't want an old RFC from years ago, you want an updated one. right? The closer to the hearing, the better. If you have a doctor who will not fill out your RFC, says, I don't have time for this, I'm too busy, you need to find a new doctor. Again, if you have a doctor who will not fill out an RFC, you need to find a new doctor, because your doctor is supposed to be on your side. Excuse me, the doctor is supposed to be advocating for you and helping you. Now, sometimes that works, and the doctor does help you, and sometimes usually it's with a county facility or a clinic where you don't get to see the doctor that much, or one of these locations where you're seen by a physician's assistant, a PA, instead of a doctor. But if they're not willing to help you with the RFC, you need to find a new doctor. It's as simple as that, because you will have a very difficult time winning your case. Some places may charge you $25 for an RFC, and that's up to you to decide if you want to pay that. But I highly encourage you to get the RFC. If it's a mental condition, then you get a mental RFC. If it's a physical condition, you get a physical RFC. If you need both a mental and a physical, you get both a physical and a mental RFC. And if you want a specialized one for the eyes or for diabetes or for the back, for a specialist, you can get that as well. Missouri, beautiful place. I mean, I just have to come back. How can I not come back? You guys should come check it out. My name is Avi Leibovic. Check out all of our webinars, www.benefitsforall.com and benefitsforall.com. I promise you, together, we are going to help you win your Social Security disability case so that you don't have to pay the cost of an expensive attorney. All the best, and thank you very, very much.